So starting from now, X module, formerly Twitter, is not anymore available on make.com, but no worries, there is a way around it. Way around it is very similar to the TikTok module that I showed in the last video, but let's do it one more time. First is what you're gonna need is Sheets or Microsoft Excel in my case, because I use OneDrive. If you use Google, then Google Sheets. So first I go to my drive and create new Excel workbook. I'm gonna rename it. And this one is going to be for videos, which is X videos, but the same system also works for photos. So first column, I'm gonna write video URL, and the second column, it's gonna be video title. So now I can go back to make, add missing module. Like I said, it is add a worksheet row. Here I have to make a connection. As I already have connection, then I'm just going to connect workbook. Here's my X videos. And I'm gonna choose my sheet. For values, I'm gonna choose only values. And as you can see, it already output me titles I have. So for video URL, I'm gonna use URL from my first module. If you don't know how to create everything before that, I recommend watching my how to build from scratch another video. And from video title, I have AI generated title. I personally use XAI because it's very cheap. And let's click save. And what we need to do next is to run this URL and title to Buffer. It is a program where you can automatically upload your content, but as you can see in Make, there is no upload content. So what we have to do is send this URL to Zapier, and I'm gonna show it. But first you have to set up your Buffer account. As you can see, I already have my TikTok here. In Buffer, you can for free add 3 channels. For example, next one I'm adding is X. And to do that, make sure you are logged in your X account on the same browser you're doing it. And let's connect. And authorize. And let's finish connection. And as you can see, now I have 2 apps. I can even add one more. Probably I'm gonna do with Pinterest. And now when you go to Zapier, and let's create a new Zap. You can make only in free version 2-step Zaps, which is enough for us. And as I'm using Microsoft Excel, I'm going to use it. And here I'm going to make firstly a connection. As already I have done it, I'm going to have it here. It is pretty easy to make connection. You just have to be in the same browser one more time. And let's here choose an event. And here you have to choose triggers when a new row is added to a worksheet in a spreadsheet. So whenever in Make we add URL and title, this one triggers. As it is checking only every 15 minutes, I recommend adding sleep module in Make with total value of 15 minutes. I'm going to do it later. Continue. Here I'm going to choose spreadsheet, which is X videos. Maybe I should change name. And sheet 1. Next. And test trigger. But testing I recommend doing a bit later. So for now I'm gonna skip test because now I don't have any information over there, but I'm gonna add it pretty soon. So let's continue. And what we need is Buffer. Let's choose an event, which is add to queue. Choose my account, allow access. As you can see, I have many emails and Gmails. It is because sometimes I just don't want to pay. And it's easier to create a new email. Continue. Organization is by default my organization. We don't need tags, but we need this channel. As you can see, it shows TikTok, and now it shows also X. And now is the part when we have to return to Make. I'm gonna disconnect everything else for now. And what we're gonna want is video URL and video title. And that we're gonna get if we run once the whole scenario. And if we go back to our worksheet, then you can see it added video URL and video title. So now, back in Zapier, I'm gonna go back to our first module and now do this trigger testing. And as you can see, it pulled out new record. And when I click on it, I can see URL and title. And I'm gonna continue with this record. So here in buffer, what we have to do is go back to configure and here add text. It somehow is not showing me. So sadly, I haven't find the solution when it's not finding rows. And the only solution I have right now is to delete it and do it one more time. Luckily, connections are already done, so it's not going to take so much time. And this time it works. So sometimes you just have to do it over, like in make, when modules sometimes don't work. Tags, we don't need them, we need channel, which is X. As text, we're going to use video title. For media, I'm choosing video. As you can see, you can here choose different ones. If you're, for example, doing image, basically everything else is same. You need still URL and still title. And for here, for video, we're gonna use URL. And method, I'm gonna use share now. And continue. So now, when I'm gonna press test step, it's gonna load, and yes, probably you're gonna have error also, or at least I have. But actually, if you go to buffer, then you're gonna see that sent is one that we just did one, the Eiffel Tower. And when we go to X and refresh, then this Eiffel Tower is here. So I don't know why it says error, but actually does everything. So now I'm gonna return the buffer, click skip test and publish. And if I'm not wrong, then you can, in free version, have 2-step zaps as many as you want. So it's good. You can connect your TikTok and X, and maybe I should do another video about Pinterest, although it's very much the same. But as I said, Zapier is checking every 50 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add sleep modules. Maximum for sleep module is 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. So I'm gonna add 5 minutes here. And I'm gonna add another 5 minutes here. And 5 minutes in the last module. It is good for Zapier and Buffer to upload everything, and also it is good for other platforms to make sure everything is uploaded, and only then it deletes the file from the OneDrive. If you don't know how to build automation to other social medias and how to do everything before, then you should definitely watch my previous videos where I explain every step of it and build it from scratch. That's it. Have a great day.